Thank you, and thank you, Carlos, and thank you, Working Families Party, for having this. So I am a small business owner. My mother started Time and Season 20 years ago. I've been at my own business about 4 years ago, the Common Bond Market. Between the two stores, I have just shy of 100 employees. It is easy as a business owner to be morally directionless. A lot of the mentality of organization building comes to thinking about all the different bits and pieces in their component parts. And what happens is that as you become more and more separated from labor, and there are more and more layers of management, you start seeing people more as objects or things and not as people. So one of the things that I tell my managers is that due to the hierarchical nature of business, that you have two options when you want someone to do something. You can tell them and you can direct them by fiat, or you can persuade them and get them to do what you want to do, what is ultimately best for the business. It's way more efficient in a vacuum to just tell somebody to do something, but for the long-term health and vibrancy of the business, for those interpersonal relationships, and then really for business and our society as a whole, to be convincing and persuading people to want to get on the same page. So the way that I run my business is recognizing that the people that I work with are all in this together. We have a similar shared vision, and we want to make sure that we're treating each other with respect, knowing sometimes that the business simply needs somebody to come in to fill in a shift, but also recognizing that if somebody needs to stay home to take care of a loved one, a family member, that they have that ability to do so. And we try to find that balance. But due to the nature of big business, you have shareholders that have no say in the organization of the business, but then you also have executives who will probably never in the course of their week talk to their labor force, their workforce. So we can hope that businesses will naturally fall into a mentality of protecting their labor, but we see that that is simply not happening. And when it doesn't happen, that is where government comes in, and we need to provide regulation and provide a base layer for the people that actually produce for our economy. Now we're at a point where CEOs will make 350 times more than the average pay for their workers. And you have to imagine if we are fighting for a laissez-faire economy where markets solve everything, then that means that these executives are doing 350 times more work than the average worker, which is simply untrue, impossible by the metrics of simple math. So we need to get out of this paradigm where we're allowing for our labor to be basically used as pawns with little to no negotiation ability, little ability to actually mandate their quality of life, and we are the ones that need to help protect them and be on their side. And that is why I, as a small business owner, feel very, very deeply that this regulation, Senate Bill 321, is so necessary for our state to pass because given that we're in a state of 3.8 million people and we're a fairly blue state, we can pass legislation that works and we can be a model for the rest of the country. Thank you.